Did you know that a staggering 64% of drivers are currently cruising around with a known maintenance issue they're putting off? Even more telling, nearly half of all drivers admit they've paid for a repair that could have been avoided with better attention to their car's needs. If your car's engine speed, or RPM, is jumping up and down while you're idling, it's not just a quirky habit, it's a clear signal that something is wrong. Before you start picturing costly repairs, take a deep breath. Often, the cause of a fluctuating idle is a relatively simple and inexpensive fix. In this guide, we'll walk you through the most common culprits, from simple maintenance tasks to slightly more involved checks. Think of it as a roadmap to understanding your car better and potentially saving yourself a significant amount of money and stress. The first and most direct way to get to the bottom of the issue is to check for error codes. Any vehicle manufactured after 1996 is equipped with an onboard diagnostics port, usually located under the driver's side dashboard. By plugging in an OBD2 scanner, you can get a direct report from your car's computer about what's gone wrong. However, not all idling problems will trigger a check engine light or store a trouble code. That's why we've also included a simple, often overlooked trick at the end of this list that could solve your problem in minutes. Let's explore the 13 most common reasons why your engine's RPM might be on a roller coaster. The sneaky sabotage of a vacuum leak. Imagine trying to drink through a straw with a tiny hole in it. You wouldn't get a smooth, consistent flow, would you? A vacuum leak in your engine works much the same way. Your engine requires a precise mixture of air and fuel to run smoothly. The mass airflow, or MAF sensor, is responsible for measuring the air coming into the engine so the car's computer, the engine control unit, or ECU, can add the right amount of fuel. A vacuum leak allows unmeasured air to sneak into the engine, throwing this delicate balance into chaos. The ECU, thinking there's less air, reduces the fuel, but the extra, uncounted air causes the RPM to surge. The system then tries to correct itself by adding more fuel, which in turn causes the RPM to drop. This creates a frustrating cycle of revving up and down. To find a vacuum leak, you can inspect all the rubber hoses in your engine bay for cracks or loose connections. A confused mass airflow sensor. The mass airflow sensor is the gatekeeper of your engine's air supply. If this vital sensor is dirty or malfunctioning, it can send inaccurate information to the ECU. This is like a chef using a faulty measuring cup. The final recipe is bound to be off. A faulty MAF sensor can lead to a host of problems, including a fluctuating idle and a noticeable delay when you press the gas pedal. Sometimes, carefully cleaning the sensor with a specialized cleaner can resolve the issue. If that doesn't work, a replacement is likely necessary. A grumpy idle air control, or IAC valve. Just as its name suggests, the idle air control valve is in charge of managing the airflow to your engine when it's idling. This small but crucial component, typically located on the throttle body, can get clogged with carbon, dirt, and oil over time. When it gets dumbed up, the valve can get stuck, allowing either too much or too little air into the engine. This disrupts the air-fuel mixture and is a very common cause of an erratic idle. You can often diagnose a faulty IAC valve by unplugging it while the engine is running. If the RPM doesn't change, the valve is likely the culprit. A thorough cleaning can often bring it back to life. Suffocating on a clogged air filter. Your engine needs to breathe just like you do. The air filter is its first line of defense, preventing dust, dirt, and other debris from getting inside. Over time, this filter becomes clogged and restricts the amount of air that can pass through. When your engine is starved of air, the air-fuel ratio is thrown off, which can lead to a rough and fluctuating idle. This is one of the simplest and most inexpensive things to check and replace. A thirsty engine from a clogged fuel filter. Just as the air filter keeps the air clean, the fuel filter ensures that no dirt or debris from the tank makes its way to the sensitive fuel injectors. If the fuel filter becomes clogged, it restricts the flow of fuel to the engine. This can lead to incomplete combustion, causing the engine to idle unevenly and rev unexpectedly while you're parked. Replacing a clogged fuel filter is a straightforward way to restore proper fuel flow and smooth out your idle. A sticky throttle plate. The throttle plate, located inside the throttle body, is like a valve that controls how much air enters the engine when you press the accelerator. If this plate becomes coated with grime and carbon buildup, it can start to stick, especially when the engine is idling. This interference messes with the air-fuel mixture and can cause your RPM to jump around. Cleaning the throttle plate with a dedicated throttle body cleaner and a soft brush can often resolve this issue. For a more thorough cleaning, it's best to remove the throttle body completely. A misleading throttle position sensor. The throttle position sensor is a small sensor that monitors the exact position of the throttle plate and sends this information to the car's computer. If the TPS is faulty, it can send incorrect data, leading the ECU to make poor decisions about how much fuel to deliver. This can result in a rough and unstable idle. Dirty fuel injectors causing an uneven spray. Fuel injectors are responsible for delivering a fine, precise mist of fuel into the engine cylinders. When they become clogged with deposits, the spray pattern can become uneven or the amount of fuel delivered can be inconsistent. This leads to an unbalanced engine and a rough and surging idle. Using high-quality gasoline and occasionally using a good fuel injector cleaner can help prevent and sometimes even resolve this issue. A weakening fuel pump. The fuel pump has the critical job of moving gasoline from the tank to the engine and maintaining the right pressure for a proper air-fuel mixture. If the fuel pump is starting to fail, it may not be able to supply a consistent flow of fuel, especially at idle. This fluctuation in fuel pressure can cause the RPM to dance up and down as the engine struggles to maintain a steady run. A faulty exhaust gas recirculation valve. The EGR valve is a key component of your car's emissions system. It works by recirculating a small amount of exhaust gas back into the engine cylinders. This process lowers combustion temperatures and reduces harmful NOx emissions. However, if the EGR valve gets stuck open, too much exhaust gas can enter the combustion chamber. This displaces the oxygen needed for a clean burn, causing the engine to struggle and the idle to become erratic. Cam phaser complications in modern engines. In engines equipped with variable valve timing, the cam phasers play a crucial role in adjusting the intake and exhaust valves. This technology helps to improve performance and fuel efficiency. If a cam phaser fails, the ECU loses its ability to properly control the valves, which can lead to a host of issues, including a rough and surging idle, especially when you first start the car. An unreliable alternator or a dying battery. Your car's electrical system is the nerve center of the vehicle, and the alternator and battery are its heart. The alternator generates the electrical power needed to run everything from the headlights to the ECU and the sensors that control the air-fuel mixture. If the alternator is weak or the battery is failing, it can cause voltage fluctuations that confuse the ECU and other electronic components. This can lead to a disruption in the air-fuel balance and a subsequent unstable idle. You can check for this by starting your engine and testing the battery voltage with a multimeter. A healthy system should read around 13.5 volts. A sparkless ignition system. For your engine to run smoothly, it needs a consistent and powerful spark in each cylinder. A variety of issues with the ignition system can disrupt this. Worn-out spark plugs, damaged spark plug wires, faulty ignition coils, or a bad distributor can all lead to an uneven and inconsistent spark. This misfiring will cause the engine to run rough and the RPM to fluctuate. The simple trick you might be overlooking. Now for that often overlooked secret weapon in your diagnostic arsenal. If you've checked for error codes and come up empty, the problem could be as simple as a bad ground connection. Your car's electrical system relies on good ground connections to complete its circuits. A loose or corroded ground can cause sensors to malfunction and send erratic signals to the ECU without ever triggering a check engine light. Take a few minutes to locate the main grounding points in your engine bay, clear off any corrosion you see, and make sure all the bolts are tight. This quick and easy fix could instantly stabilize your idle and save you countless hours of troubleshooting. Now that you have a better understanding of what might be causing your engine's idle to act up, you're well equipped to start investigating. Taking the time to understand and address these issues not only makes for a smoother ride, but also contributes to the long-term health of your vehicle.